All right, so someone recently asked me why I would save my images to PNG files rather than JPEGs. So I thought, I get this question quite a bit about the different graphics formats, so I thought I'd do a quick demo to show you the differences in what I use. Now, I primarily would use the PNG or the EMF versions, and I'll kind of explain how that works. So what we have here is we've got kind of a stock image. It's transparent, so we've got the guy. The image is actually squared up, so if you actually looked at the image, it would kind of go like this up here. And it's transparent, so I can drag it over the character, and you can see the other character through that where it's transparent. And then we've got a vector-based clip art image, so I can ungroup that, and it would be kind of typical of what you'd see with clip art. So we'll look at the different formats and how we save them. So let's look at the stock photo first. So when I go to the stock photo, I have that image saved in 4 different formats. So I've got a PNG, a GIF, a JPEG, and an EMF. Now for stock photos, EMF's really not something I'd consider. So I'm going to limit myself to the PNG, and I'll explain why. So when we look at the GIF format, if we zoom in on this here, the GIF format doesn't handle colors well. So you've got a number of colors that transition from the darker to the lighter, and the GIF format's not going to handle those as well, but you do maintain the transparency of your image. So you don't get the crispness, but you do get the transparency. Now if we look at the JPEG, what you're going to get is you get the colors that are handled really well. So you'll see the gradients are really smooth through that, but the problem is you don't have the transparency. So wherever it's transparent, it's going to be white. So what you want is to save as a PNG, because with PNG you can get the color benefit that you'd get with the JPEG, and you get the transparency benefit that you'd get with the GIF files. And so saving your images as PNGs is the way to go. The other option now, if we look at stock art or clip art, is that's typically vector based. That means that it uses an algebraic formula to calculate the colors and shape and all that stuff, and so when you scale it, it maintains the image quality when you scale it. So the vector based images, if you save as a PNG, a GIF, or JPEG, you're converting it to a raster image. Now it'll still maintain good image quality for the most part, but you don't have the scalability. So let's look at this. So the PNG file again works. If you're not going to scale the image, it's probably okay. The GIF file, you get the transparency. It's a solid color. Usually the solid colors are handled well. In this particular example, it's not. So you can see that there's some loss of image quality, but you do have the transparency. And when you save as JPEG, you run into the same problem you had with the stock image, and that's that you lose the transparency. And if we zoom in on the JPEG, you'll notice you start to get some artifacting on the colors here. So it's not handling that color transition as easily, and you get this something similar. Let's look at the PNG. The PNG is going to handle the colors better, but you'll still get a little bit of artifacting. But now let's look at the EMF file, and I'm going to put the EMF file right up here next to the PNG, and when we zoom in, you'll notice that how much more crisp the EMF file is, especially as we really start to zoom in tight. So let's go, we're at 400% here, right? So now let's compare them. So you can see you've still got your crispness of the lines where you don't have that with the PNGs. And that's because the EMF is a vector-based image. So if you're working with clip art and you've grouped it and ungrouped it and saved it, just go ahead and right-click, save as picture, and then what I would do is choose the EMF format for that, and then it's going to allow you to scale. So if we scale the image here, it looks really crisp. If we take the PNG file, see, it doesn't look as good when it's scaled. So that's basically what I do. Stock images I save as PNGs, clip art images I'll save as EMFs so that I can scale them.